Hello, everyone.
Hello, and welcome to One-on-One Ratio Pod, where we talk about film and film. I'm Yoav,
I'm Meli.
and tonight we're talking about
Close up. Woo! That was Yoav's
very
pick.
excited, very excited, very
Yes.
cool. Um, yeah, I watched a lot of shit this week, and well, Meli watched a few things. I'm pretty sure. But
Um,
we'll
well, we'll talk about that.
yes, we'll start with movie news though.
Yes, we will. Movie news.
Do you want to start with something? Know something,
Um,
something?
oh, some, sure. I'll start with, I guess, what I have written down. Um, which is I wrote about the trailers, so I guess I'll talk about that.
But
This past week we've gotten three trailers for some of like the most anticipated movies of the year. We got Saltburn trailer by Emerald Fennell, which I know like Yoav and I were very excited about. Talented Mr. Ripley vibes for sure.
have
Then we got the Ferrari trailer by Michael Mann. Is that correct? I think.
hmm?
Yeah. Um Personally, I don't really care for that one too much. I know Yoav's
I
excited.
agree. I
Oh,
agree.
I thought you were excited.
No, I'm excited for it. I think the trailer isn't very well edited. I think there was a lot of room to grow there. The only work of Michael Mann that I've seen is Thief, which
Mm.
is one hell of a movie. I gave that one 5 out of 5. Um, and like that's Michael Mann's directorial debut. So that's the
Hmm.
only thing I've seen of his. Um, I don't think the trailer was well edited. I think Adam Driver might definitely be a Best Actor nominee for this one. I
For
don't know if you
sure.
agree.
I definitely agree with
Um,
that. Yeah.
I mean, I love Penelope Cruz. Everything she's in, really for me hits. But we'll see. I don't know. I think both of us are like not fully
I
in love with
mean,
it.
yeah, it's just like I don't know. I'm not like totally into that whole like car genre movies.
Right. Ford versus
Um,
Ferrari,
yeah.
that kind of stuff. Right. But
Yeah.
Gran Turismo,
Oh
second
my
podcast
God.
is on. That genre doesn't really get to me either, but it's
No.
okay. Um, yeah, but Saltburn trailer looked so good. It looked awesome.
So see, that is how you do a trailer. That is
Right.
how you do a trailer. It's
Oh
like
my God.
it's like you
Everything from
know
the
what
title
it's
card.
about. Wait, say that
Yeah.
again?
Everything from like the title
Yeah.
cards, like
Oh my God, the
the
font. Oh, like you know what it's about, but it doesn't give away the whole movie, and there's still some mystery, some suspense. Like perfect, perfect, perfect. So,
amazing.
so ready.
I wish they I wish they didn't release more trailers after this. I wish there was just like the old days, just one trailer for a movie and that's it. I
Yeah.
just when you get like 10 trailers, I just can't help myself and I like keep looking at it and then I feel like I've seen the whole movie and it's like no, like I like keep the mystery, keep the teasers, you know?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. And also with the trailer within a trailer for the trailer thing is just funny and like
Yeah. It's
it's
so
so like TikTok era cinema.
it really
Like,
is. It's very like modern, like
yeah,
capitalist. I don't know, it's so stupid. Like we don't need a teaser for the trailer and then an extended trailer and a director's cut trailer. Like, what? We don't need
like,
all
but
that.
yeah, no, it's just a nightmare. But yeah, so there's that. I'll actually be talking about him more when we talk about the movie and in like a very surprising way. Michael Cera, our king, is currently working or looking to direct his first movie and is working on it, and working on financing it. Um, he describes it as like a family story. I don't know how to describe it. It's mysterious. That's the most Michael Cera sentence I've ever heard.
It really is. Oh, I love Michael Cera. He's so I can't how could you not like him? He's perfect,
But
honestly.
yeah,
But I'm
I
excited to see like what his vision is and what he's gonna
yeah.
bring to life.
I can like kind of put my finger on what a Michael Cera directed movie would be like in like the awkwardness or like the I don't know, maybe mystery might work too. I don't know. We'll
It
see how it
might.
goes.
I think
Um,
something tells me that he has like he has some darkness up in his head.
mhm,
For sure. For sure he does.
I agree.
So
But yeah. What else did you write?
um I also just wrote about the third trailer, David Fincher's The
Oh yeah,
Killer.
right.
Um which I mean again, another really great trailer.
Well
Like
under the trailer. Yes.
very well edited. I'm very excited. The poster that came out for it was
I'm in
so
love with that poster.
cool.
Yeah.
Obsessed.
Yeah.
Posters I'm not obsessed with are the Killers of the Flower Moon. Did you see those ones?
Yeah, I did see those ones. I kind of blocked it out of my mind.
Bad, 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 bad.
Yeah,
Awful. Like we don't know. No.
it's a damn shame.
We don't want posters like that.
Yeah, but it's okay.
But I'll still be
It's
watching.
giving Japanese close-up poster. Like,
Yes, it is.
um,
Uh,
yeah, but The Killer, it's not releasing to theaters, which is very depressing.
it's
Um,
Netflix exclusive,
yeah,
which I mean, if there's one thing I feel like we should take away from this year is that movies do really well with the theatrical release. So it is a shame to not be able to see like a David Fincher movie on the big
yeah.
screen. Um, because it's it's
It's
like
been,
yeah, exactly. And it's more special that way. You feel more connected to the movie,
yeah.
but whatever Netflix, whatever you want to do.
His movies are so mind-blowing, and like,
Yeah.
I feel like if I was in like well, what's the game from? Was it 1990? If I was in 1999 watching the game for the first time, my mind would be blown and I would
Mm-hmm.
be laughing and like every one of his movies I think of like Zodiac, Fight Club, all that stuff, like that would be a ride in theaters and
Yeah,
like I feel like The Killer has the capacity to be that good, so it's a shame.
it is a shame. But
But
he does have like a deal with Netflix or whatever, so
yeah. At
that's
least Fincher's getting money to produce stuff
yeah, very
for
true.
him. Um On a interesting note, Anthony Hopkins, one of my favorite actors, considered to be one of the best actors of his age,
Yeah.
is to play Mr. or Sir, sorry, not Mr. Sir Nicholas Winton, who was he, in the 90s, he started to get known for what he did during the Holocaust and World War II. He's a figure that saved 669 Jewish children in the Holocaust. There's a very famous British broadcasting thing, or BBC like TV interview thing where he's sitting in an audience and he thinks and he knows that like next to him is sitting a woman who he saved during the Holocaust. What he didn't know during that clip is that every person in the audience was fully made up of all like a bunch of living survivors that he saved. And this clip of like him looking around, and it's very famous. That's what I know him for. And Anthony Hopkins is going to play him in some sort of biopic thing. He's not a very famous figure, so I'm very excited to see how that is. What do you think?
Wow. Okay, I have not heard of this actually. I did not know about this. That
Yeah,
is
it's
really
so
cool.
heartwarming. It's very heartwarming.
Yeah, what?
I mean, obviously it probably won't be a heartwarming film, but like, yeah.
Anthony
How
Hopkins is
Schindler's
old.
List will it be? Yeah, he's like 80 something, high
Yeah.
80s.
Damn. So he's gonna be
But
playing in a biopic at his age? That's
yeah. Did you watch The Father though?
no, I did not.
Okay, because The Father was maybe my favorite, yeah, probably that my favorite movie of that year.
Hmm.
And I gave it 5 out of 5, even like just mind-blowing like movie. And Anthony Hopkins is what I think he was 87 when he won the Best Actor Oscar for that role. And he's
Yeah.
so nuanced and he plays the role so beautifully that I literally trust him with anything. Even if he's like 100, I'll be like, if he gives a performance half the amazingness of the father, I'm gonna be happy because he really
Right.
has the. So I
Hmm.
don't know, except for that one.
Me too.
Anything else?
Um, yes. Just so as we know, Venice Film Festival has started. Um, so Poor Things, directed by Yorgos Lanthimos, has been screened. I believe it's the first one to be screened.
Yeah,
Um, and it received an 8-minute standing ovation.
it's pretty short for a film festival.
It is pretty short, but there have been shorter. But
It's true.
it did
No, I
debut
feel like
with
8 minutes is a good
yeah,
time.
yeah. I think it debuted with 100 or something. I think
Yeah,
because
I think so as
right?
well. On Metacritic or something.
Yeah.
Um, I don't even trust the standing ovations after the whale got like a what was it, 20 minute like
No, the whale got like a 5 minute, I thought.
no, it was like 10 minutes. It was like long for
Okay, wait.
Brendan.
We gotta fact check this right now.
I remember the whale getting a really long standing ovation. It was like 12 minutes. But I just don't trust those at that point. I mean, even if the whale got a 5 minute
No,
standing
it got a
ovation.
6 minute. It got 6 minute.
Oh, still. Oh, so that's shorter than Poor Thing. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, okay, I'm happy about that.
yeah.
6 minutes is intense. 8 minutes is crazy for clapping.
Crazy. Like just straight up just like no. No.
I saw this YouTube video of this guy, like, what's his name? The film drunk. I don't know if you know him.
The name's
Um,
familiar.
he did a video where it was like trying to clap for 10 minutes like they did for whatever film he was like they did a standing ovation for, and he forfeited after a minute. It's like intense. Like clapping is hard.
Yeah, it's not for what's that phrase? It's
Faint
not
of
for the
heart.
faint of heart.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another thing that premiered for 100% on Rotten Tomatoes was All of Us Strangers with Paul
Yes.
Mescal.
Yes, we talked about it last week. And so the fact that it premiered with 100 is pretty good, pretty wild. Very
Yeah,
happy about that.
excited. Um, yeah, there are a bunch of really highly rated movies so far,
Yeah, there
right?
are.
I don't know if Ferrari premiered yet, but whatever.
I don't know.
Um, I think another thing that's premiering at Venice is Maestro, directed by Bradley Cooper. And there's recently been a little bit of a controversy about that. You want to tell us
Mm-hmm.
about it?
Yeah, so well, who is he playing again? Please.
He's playing Leonard Bernstein.
Leonard Bernstein, who is Jewish. And basically his nose prosthetic, Bradley Cooper's nose prosthetic in the movie is so unnecessarily large and pointy. And people like were like like, hey, like this looks nothing like his actual nose. So like what's
If
going
you
on
see the side
here?
by side comparison, it's like not.
It's wild. Like it's his like the prosthetic is like fucking Pinocchio, like
Leonard had a big
this.
ass nose. He
Yeah,
did.
he did.
So,
But
but
not in the way that Bradley Cooper's prosthetic
they're
looks.
not like the same. It's a
No.
really weird moment in Hollywood
Yeah.
history.
And but
I
like he said that the family was like okay with it and they put out like a statement about it saying that it's not that
yeah.
big a deal, but like I don't know. It's just
I
weird,
mean,
that's all.
I'm not personally offended as a Jew, but like I see where people are getting offended.
Yeah.
I mean, I might be a little bit more forgiving than other people. So, but
Well,
yeah,
yeah, you heard it here, You heard it here first, folks, from a Jewish person.
that's like when Michael Scott tries to say how the tables have turned.
Yeah.
How the turntables.
Uh,
Anyways, what what movies did you watch this week? Because I saw on your letterbox that you handed out a 5-star banger, as
I
well as
did. And a one
yeah,
star banger.
and a 1-star banger.
We
So
got the
what were
whole
they?
we got the
Tell us about it.
scales.
Tell
So
us
my
about
one star banger was Crazy Rich Asians.
right.
I had to watch it for my film class. Oh, don't ask me why we had to watch it. We were doing explicit and implicit filmmaking, whatever. Very cool to learn about. I don't think Crazy Rich Asians was the right movie because it's just so you have to analyze these movies, like to get the implicit meaning. And it was honestly difficult to get an implicit meaning out of Crazy Rich Asians because it just falls so flat. Um, I don't get the hype behind it. Like when I was like 10 and I watched it, I was like, okay, this is cute. Never was like obsessed with it like other
Right.
people were. And then like I rewatched it and I was like, no, thank you. I will not be rewatching this.
Fuck.
Just like
Like no.
no, everything about it is so cringy. The dialogue is cringy. The editing is like it's too much. It's too much. It's like so choppy. I could go on about this, but yeah, that's Crazy Rich Asians, whatever. And then I finally watched Moon Age Danger. Oh my god,
How
okay.
how how was it? I haven't finished it. I was in love with it for the first 5 minutes, and then
Mhm.
I stopped it because I was like, I have to be one night like sitting alone in front of my TV at night and like
Yeah.
be zen. So I saved it for a different day. But what did you think?
I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Like, okay, I am a huge David Bowie fan. Like, if you know me personally, like you know that I love him to my core. Um, and so it was just like really cool to be able to experience that because it's like about him, but it's also like a psychedelic experience in a way, and you're like
I think
experiencing
the
his music.
Criterion description called it like kaleidoscopic or something, like
Yeah,
where it's
and it really is, but I gave it 5 stars. I know some people thought it was like too long or like whatever, but I'm not complaining about that because the more Bowie I can get, the better. Um, but yeah, 5 stars, really cool. It really like captured his soul and his essence and um like really well done. Very respectful as well. Um yeah, very good.
I love David Bowie. Labyrinth is one of my comfort watches. I mean, but that's obviously like, Black Stars, Ziggy Stardust, all those
Yeah,
albums, so iconic, so amazing. I mean, I love him too, so I'm waiting to watch that one. Um,
definitely. Well, what
I'm
did you
sorry.
watch?
I'm gonna talk about 3 films tonight.
Okay.
Because they were all just I had such a great week for cinema. I watched four, what was it? No, three 5-star movies in a row, which was very crazy.
Wow.
Um, and then like anyways, so I started the week with Being John Malkovich, which was one of the most intensely like existential watches I've ever seen. The, I mean, maybe the movie that has sent me through the biggest existential like mini crisis I've ever been through. Um, like legitimately, like I'm not kidding. Like throughout this movie, my mouth was open. I won't say anything about it. Please go into it blind. Please watch it, Meli. Um,
It's been on my list forever.
after after I watched it, I was literally just sitting there and I didn't and like that barely happens, but it happened with another movie I watched this week. But I was really just sitting there and I was processing and it's a heavy watch, but it's also very funny. But it's existentially terrifying, terrifying. It drove me nuts. I mean, I can't stop thinking about this movie. But yeah. And then I kind of watched something funny with my sister, which isn't really that funny, which is Hausu, one of my comfort movies, which is also kind of a scary comedy, but it's okay. That was like the second 5 star. And then I went to the theater next to my house and I watched a long-awaited movie for me, Beau Travail. And Meli has seen this as well. We both gave this one 5 stars. What do you think of this one?
Dude, oh my god. It's so good, and what makes it so good is that it's like honestly so simple. Like if you really like obviously like the context and like all of that and like is not so simple, but the movie itself down to like filmmaking wise is so simple, and it's like these men in the fucking like like what do they call it,
South African, like that's in the Legion, in the French Legion.
yeah, the French
Yeah.
Legion, legions,
Legionnaires.
whatever the fuck, and they're like these like soldiers, and they're like training and like prepping, and just like from like a filmmaking standpoint, it's so beautiful. The cinematography absolutely just fucking blows you away, even though it's just desert. Like it's like sand and desert and just like half naked men, but it's like, oh
Definitely, I literally would put it on top 10 cinematography of all time.
yeah, honestly same,
Hands
honestly
down.
same, yeah,
Maybe even top 5. Like low key, like or no, high key. Like
like so good. And then we
I'm
were
watching this in a big screen. Oh,
we were
I mean,
talking about it, like it's so, I think I used the word angelic, right?
hmm,
Like I used the word angelic to describe, what did I use it to
the male
describe?
figure
Yeah,
in this.
yeah. Like, oh, I can't.
If you haven't seen Beau Travail, watch it. I mean, it's deceptively simple. It's incredibly personal and thoughtful. It's one of those movies where I'm just like, if I managed to make a work of art like this sometime in my life, I would feel fulfilled, like
Yeah.
completely fulfilled. I mean,
Oh yeah.
Claire Denis should be high off her own ass right now because it's like amazing cinema. Just like this is so cringe, but there were moments in the theaters where I just wanted to fucking like jump off and jump up in the air and be like, yes, this shot, like this is fucking cinema. It worked. It worked so well, and Votraval is just
So good. I honestly like go watch, like
go
go.
watch.
It's
And
not long. It's like what, an hour and 30,
yeah,
20
I mean, it
minutes?
will be slow for a lot of people. But
Yeah.
if you get into that vibe, I mean, we're talking about a slow movie today. If you get into that vibe, you'll really get it.
Hmm.
Um, anyways, the third thing, or fifth thing I watched this week, the last thing I watched was Amadeus,
Oh,
directed
okay.
by Michael Corman. This movie is 3 hours long.
Yeah.
It's a historical epic.
Yep.
It is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen.
Really?
Intentionally a funny movie, and it catches you so off guard. This movie is engaging, it's stunning, it's like historically poetic, and like it's about jealousy.
Hmm.
And if you watched it, you know that Mozart really isn't the main character here. There's a
Yeah,
character of
yeah.
really a Mozart biopic. It's more about the jealousy between these two guys. Oh,
Who played, was it, no, who was it in it?
who played Mozart?
No,
It's
not
I
not
haven't even.
Mozart, the other guy. It's a very famous
Oh,
actor.
F. Murray Abraham.
F. Murray Abraham, thank you.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's in a lot of famous. The guy that played Mozart is Tom Hulce, who I only know from Stranger Than Fiction and Hunchback of Notre Dame. He like played one of the side characters in that. He
Oh,
like did, but he's not very famous. Or I didn't know him at
yeah.
all before this. Um, I did see one actress from that played in the original Broadway run of Into the Woods and Sunday in the Park with George, which are two like some of my favorite musicals. So she was in
Okay.
that. Um, but yeah, Amadeus, definitely one you should seek out. Definitely worth all of the hype. Don't let it intimidate you because it's actually very funny and entertaining and dramatic and sad and full of jealousy. Yeah,
Awesome.
that's what I watched.
So that is our conclusion.
Mhm.
All right, that is our conclusion for this segment. And now we will be moving on to our next segment.
All right. See you there, guys.
Hello.
That was the musical score for this week's movie, Close Up. I'm very excited for this. And um let's begin. Let's begin.
Was that a zoo?
Yeah, it was a kazoo. I was waiting for that. Um yes. Very good musical score. I think I did it justice, don't you?
Yes, justice has been served. Wow, that was really funny.
Just like justice was served on Hossein Sabzian.
Yes, indeed. Wow, that really caught me off
In
guard.
this week's
Okay.
movie, Close Up from 1990, directed by Abbas Kiarostami. God, I mean, I don't even want to start gushing because I want to hear, I'm so interested to
No, no,
hear.
no. I want you to gush. I
Um,
want to hear everything you want to
um,
gush about.
but if you haven't seen this movie, we're gonna spoil it. But definitely, if you have seen it, let's just add a little historical context here. Not historical, like context. This is a movie filmed by Abbas Kiarostami that he decided to make when he read a article in the newspaper called Bogus Makalbaf Exposed or something along the lines of that. And then he took the reporter that wrote this and started filming a film about this story, filming the trial of the man in question and using the real people involved to create tableaus or like recreate the crime that occurred. And that's what adds to the postmodern like drama of this movie, and that's where it takes place in 1990 post-revolution Iran. um First note, Meli.
Okay, well, my first note is actually about what you just said, kind of.
Hmm?
Um, that was like, well, in the beginning, it can be like a little confusing if like you don't already know that. But I think it's so cool because like he films it in a way where even if you do know the context and like that this is like based off a true story, that it seems like fictionalized. Like it seems like he just is directing like a completely like new story, which
Right,
I thought was like really really cool when I was watching it because like
right.
you just kind of get like lost in it. Like you get lost in the dialogue.
Mhm.
Even though it's like, well,
Lost, like confused or like
no, no, no,
like
not confused.
I understand.
Lost as in like you just
Yeah,
like get sucked in.
yeah.
At least I was sucked in. Like I think you also have to pay attention because it is in Farsi and like Farsi is like a very difficult language and they speak very fast. So like you
Mhm.
do have to like keep up. But like actually my question is these conversations that they're having or
Like what, in the courtroom, in the
in like in the courtroom or like outside of the
tradition,
courtroom whatever, um
they real?
are they real, like are they the actual
Here's
conversations or
the thing. Here's the thing. No one knows.
interesting.
That's what makes this movie so good. I will
Okay.
say, I can start with this because it really sets up what's happening in this as like an intellectual puzzle.
Mhm.
the tidbit that got me into like researching the back history of this movie is I watched, I think it was a video essay or a Letterboxd review where they were talking about it, and then as an anecdote they said there is the ending where like the mic starts cutting off,
Yes, yes.
the mic that's on Hossein and Makmalbaf. And um so, obviously I thought this was a technical error like they say in the movie, but no. They purposefully edited it to create drama and add fiction.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. That is
And
literally what
that
I was
just set me
thinking.
off, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, what is real here? What is reality? When is this orchestrated? Is the courtroom even real? Are these people even real? I mean, obviously this is a real story, but how much of this is fictionalized? And you see Hossein Sabzian's face as like an artifice in this courtroom. There are so many lines in there where it's like, um, which part would he talks about wanting to be an actor, not a director. And they ask him, which part would you most like to play? He says, I'd like to play myself. And then Kiarostami asks him, haven't you already done this? Haven't you been doing this your whole life? And he doesn't answer. And that kind of stuff is like, who this is like orchestrated as a film that's like Hossein Sabzian's dream. Like he's acting as himself, and he's getting the recognition that he thinks he deserves as someone whose talent is being suppressed. And you're kind of seeing this as like, is he an actor? What is going on? What was going through your head?
Okay. Sorry.
It's okay.
Let me see. Um, because I wrote down like trying to like make sense if any of this connects to what you said. Okay. Um, the one thing that I thought was like like very like what's like the right word? Not freaky, but like when
I
I was like
wouldn't
what
be as
no,
freaky.
not no. Get your mind out of the gutter. Yeah.
Go, go, go.
Um, when I was watching it, especially the courtroom scene, I felt like it was like the Golden Trial.
Yeah, I get
It
what you mean.
like so if for context at our old well at his our school, like his old high school, my current high school, they sophomore year we used to do this thing called Golden Trial where like you put on like a fake trial with like lawyers, judges, jury, everything, and it was about nature versus nurture. And that's what I was getting from it. This whole thing in the court felt very like
Orchestrated.
nature orchestrated, but like nature
They were
versus
asking
nurture.
such big questions. Yeah.
Yeah, like the questions they were asking him, I was like, okay, do some of these pertain to the case? Like, I was like, some of these questions, like, okay, what he did was obviously not like good. Like, you shouldn't take
Yeah, we'll
someone's
get into that. But
identity and then like go into people's houses, whatever. But like the questions were like, some of the questions were weird.
existential or like about him and like
Yeah,
his personality.
which I guess feeds
Not very
into the
relevant.
yeah, which feeds into what you're saying about
Big
how
drama. Fake
it's like
drama.
fictionalized in a way
Yeah.
where it's like you don't know what's real and what isn't.
Yeah.
Because if you're in a court, they're not gonna ask you those questions, I don't
The
think.
thing is, it's weird to me that they let Kiarostami ask the questions and interrupt the court for the film.
Yeah.
I don't know. So okay, yes, the sentence that Sebzyan got, or the accusation was let go. That's what happened in real life.
Mhm.
In the real life case, they did go to court. He was in prison for a while. So that part of it is true. On the surface, that's what this story is. But I'll like completely turn 360 because we did talk about Michael Cera earlier.
No,
I
it's
just want
it's
to share
180.
180, sorry. Stop. Michael Cera did a Criterion Closet video. Michael Cera. Michael Cera did a Criterion Closet video where he was talking about his movies and like pick, a Criterion Closet, they like pick out movies they like.
Yeah.
And so
Yes.
he takes that close up and he's like he sounds very sad when he's talking about this movie. He's like, yeah, a while ago my friend was hanging out with his buddies and they asked me about what movie we should watch. And like, Michael Cera, everything he says seems like he's on the verge of tears.
Yes.
Um
Yeah.
and he's talking about this and he's like, yeah, they asked me what movie they should watch and I was like, yeah, just watch Close Up. You can never go wrong with the Basquiat. um and then he was like, yeah, and the friend called me later and he was like, yeah, it really wasn't the vibe, like we went. And I felt so bad for Michael Cera because he like has a genuine love for this movie and he like recommended it, like not understanding that this is like not a very accessible one.
Yeah.
I just thought that was really funny. That's like that was the first time I heard about this movie. Um, but yeah. Anyways, um, so I connect to this movie and I want to hear how you connected to it. Not only on a humanist level, but also the as someone who loves movies, as a cinephile who wants to get into the industry. Um, Subzian is a very tragic character. He kind of reminds me of like people that have tried to break into the industry and failed. And how and the thoughts that come up with that. Um, there is no class economic mobility in Iran. Like you are born into this class system and you're stuck there. And then that hasn't changed since the 90s. And the fact that Hossein recognizes that and that he might have talent, but he doesn't have an entryway, he doesn't have a breaking point, is what makes his character so tragic. And it's kind of like my worst nightmares in many ways. Like not being able to make the art you want to make is terrifying for me. Obviously there are more worse things that can happen in life, but the tragedy of his character I really connected to. What did you connect to?
I definitely agree with like what you're saying about not being able to like break through, I guess, into the industry because it is such a competitive industry. And like he definitely has a love for the arts and for film, and he clearly like wants to pursue it. He wants to do something about it. Like he wants to work, or he wants to like work on the visions that he has. Like he's like describing like all these little like directorial things that he's doing or like
Yeah.
wants to do in the court. But that's literally what I wrote here. I wrote class, and it was like he can't really do that, especially in Iran, because of the family that he was born into and how he's poor and he doesn't have any money. And I mean, his wife freaking left him because he was too poor.
Yeah, I will say I don't recommend watching this because it's a real downer, but there is a supplement on the Criterion. It's also on YouTube, I believe. It's called Hossein Sabzian Long Shot, also directed by Bas Kiarostami, but there's not a lot of direction going on. It's just a 45-minute long shot of them interviewing Sabzian, who's sitting in the doorway of his home in a corner on the floor. And they're interviewing questions, and his story just gets more and more tragic as you hear about it. And it's a very unnerving watch because he's a little bit of a disturbing character to me. Like
Yeah.
there's something about him that kind of creeps me out, and it's because, not creeps me out, really saddens me, you know? And it's kind of unnerving to watch, like not only in the industry and like through in the classes, but like actually Iran as a whole, like these voices are being dampened, they can't like let their voices out from that. So it's really unnerving and sad to like see one of these stories portrayed. And it always reminds me like how privileged I am to like even like attempt at art. um but yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like like we definitely are privileged, and like we're in like a very like we're in a much better position than like Sabzian is. Um but even then it's like so scary to think about, because it's like you see people at like the tip top, or like who are like rich and have like all this money and like just like unlimited supplies and uh like I guess unlimited ways to be able to like break through and like create the art that they want, and like they have like all this help. And I think like it's just like scary because it's like, well, I don't have that and I want that, but like I'm not going to be able to have it. And I don't know, it's because this is something that I think about like often, and
Me
about
too.
how, yeah, how like today, in today's day and age, like it's very hard to be able to like make or produce a movie
I
and
mean,
then have it like
we have,
break through.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Like it's obviously still possible, but like one example that I was thinking of ish like was Paul Thomas Anderson, and how at 25, if I'm not
Yeah,
wrong, I think
something
he
like that.
directed Boogie Nights,
Okay.
and at 25 years old, and it was like a hit.
Yeah.
And in like today's day and age, it's like it's not, it's that's not pretty, it's not like easy.
I mean, obviously we're not at Subzion's level of like art deprecation and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the mobility. But like I that's that's the connection I think we both made.
Mm-hmm.
Um Iran as a country that doesn't associate with like Western beliefs or Western economy is really removed in terms of like inflation and stuff. I just want to put into context the 1,500 tomans that he took from the rich family is equivalent to $1.90. Um,
Really?
yeah, which is I saw it on Letterboxd, so I'm not 1,000% sure, but I do know that tomans are very, very low compared to, the dollar, which
Oh,
is the
wow.
most expensive currency, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But that just puts into context. I mean, it makes me feel bad for Subzian even more. His whole life and his whole career was already deprecated, and then this rich family sues him for $1.90. It's tough. Um, but yeah. On a brighter note though, what did you think of the visuals?
Oh my God. Okay. I think my favorite um parts visually were like
Mhm.
just when they were like in the city. Obviously like the whole like after the court scene, like that last, I think, what, like 10 minutes? Oh
Yeah,
my God. Like when they're videotaping like from like the car or whatever, and they're like
cracked
following
window.
them, and with a cracked window. uh, So so good. And like the scene where like the microphones are cutting out and they're like following them, just like walking and all that, and he's like, and then he's like buying the flowers. Just so pretty. And it's so simple, and what makes it so beautiful is that like it's the actual city. Like you know that that is the real city that they are in, and it's so true to itself, and it's not fabricated, it's not a set. Like it is the real city, and that, and it's like the beauty of the city. That's what's so cool about it.
The colors in that scene, the pink flowers, I like the image of the pink flowers and the motorcycle is I'm sure seared into everyone's mind after watching this movie because it's such
Yeah.
a stunning um shots like that really with the color. I mean, my favorite shot in this movie is in the very, very beginning, which is crazy. Like very, very like first 5 minutes is the taxi driver taking flowers from a pile of garbage slash
Oh
leaves,
yeah.
and a can falls down and you just see it rolling for like I don't know, like a minute and a half,
Yeah.
something like that. It was like a long, and the love for life here, like the amount of love for life you have to have as a director should include just a can rolling down a hill, just giving the viewers a nice breather after the exposition. Just that's Kiarostami's magic to me. I mean, I that's my favorite shot. I don't know what was going through your head. It's like the first time watching this, but
I definitely like no, that scene when I saw it, oh, I was like, okay, like just like a minute of this can like rolling down a hill, but not in like a bad way. Not in
yeah.
like a, oh, why is this here? It doesn't make sense. No, it makes sense that it's there. It's really and like you said, I guess to ease the tension, break the tension a little bit after that. Yeah.
Even though it's not like, on paper it's not very tense exposition. Like
Yeah.
it's still very slow moving, just this one pretty shot of them, like the reflection on the windshield, um and then talking through this car. By the way, I don't know how they pulled that off without
Neither
any
do I.
CGI, because
Yeah.
how was the camera in front of his face and how was he driving? And they obviously weren't using a green screen, so how was he seeing the road? I love that car scene though. I love when he crosses the man with the two turkeys and he's just like, oh, you can't see. I
I
disappeared.
can't
He's like,
see.
want a turkey?
Yeah.
Like,
And
oh, no, no, no.
he's like, no, I don't want a turkey.
No, what the fuck is wrong with you? I don't want a frigging turkey. I'm on the way to the report of my life. I love that. I love that little scene. I know that Kurosami like crafts literally everything. So sometimes I'm wondering like why is this man with the turkeys here? Like I can't see any symbolic significance, but
Maybe it's
that
just to maybe it's to kind of show like that's just what the people are like in that sound.
yeah,
Okay, because they're not in Tehran, right?
they're not. No.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
I'm not
Um,
sure I know the city.
so whatever like little like city, town, village they're in, he's probably just showing that like this is like what the people are like. Like you have men that sell you turkeys through your car window. Like
One
there you
of
go.
his goals in cinema that he talks about in interviews, as well as the filmmaker Mohsen Makhmalbaf, which I haven't seen any of his movies, but I do own a Blu-ray of a trilogy of his films, that I am gonna get to, is Mohsen Makhmalbaf has even visited Israel, which is like completely unheard of, and like put his movies in our festivals, and that kind of stuff, to make art peace, like peace through art, that kind of stuff. They both aim as filmmakers to like take off all the stigma of Iran through this art, like showing that the people aren't and the same thing with, we talked about Girl Walked Home Alone at Night last week. That's also a movie that's like talking about how complex the people are, as
Yeah.
opposed to like how, in my opinion, evil the leadership is. So all like this beauty and the autumn vibes here are hard. They make me miss autumn, which is coming around the corner. Did you feel that too with like the yellow leaves and everything? Um,
I guess, but also like I don't experience fall here. So
that's
I don't experience those yellow leaves. But I guess I get to see it through a screen, which is always nice.
yeah.
Even though I'd like to
Um,
see it with my own eyes.
Visit Iran once things settle, hopefully. Um,
I don't know. We'll see.
Israel, we're right near there. You'll see the leaves.
Yeah.
Um, just the prettiest cinematography. All of his movies are beautiful, beautiful. And he doesn't shoot them. He always writes and directs and edits them most of the time.
Yeah, but he
But
doesn't. I noticed that the cinematography was someone else.
yeah, um, beautiful, beautiful
And yeah,
shot.
I thought it was cool that he is also the editor. I like that.
Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah. It makes it like a singular vision. Like I know
Hmm.
that this guy has all the complexities of this movie figured out in his head, and he's crafting it and he's in control of everything. And I'm like, I'm putting my heart in your hand. Like I'm fully trusting you as a director, editor, and writer to
Hmm.
create this, whatever the hell you would call this movie, like these many layers, dimensions, whatever.
Yeah.
Do you have any other
Um,
notes? What else did you write?
Well, I wrote down this quote that I wanted to share that I really liked from the film that Hossein he said it in court. And the quote was that I'm speaking of my suffering. I'm not acting. I'm speaking from the heart. Um and I
Okay,
just
fine.
like the quote I just when he said it I was like I like frowned a little bit and I was like, "Oh." I was like, this is like really sad because like yeah, clearly this man is like going through it and suffering and like he's literally in court and he's just like gushing like his heart out. Like he really was.
Yeah,
But I just wrote that down because I was like, oh, I really like that quote and I would like to have that on paper, but I don't
yeah.
know. Just nice little.
I wrote down another quote of his in the courtroom. This I don't think it's very related. Um, what does he say? Never mind, I didn't write it down. But there's so many moments where he's like, I don't think he's really acting for the camera at many times. I think that part of what he's saying really does come from the heart. He has a lot of quotes. He has a way with words, this man. He
Mm-hmm.
does.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think he did have, I don't know if he's still alive actually, if he's still with us. But I think he did have some talent and he has where to go. I would love to see his movie with the two men on the motorcycle. I would kill to see that movie. Because he does have a way with words and I wonder I just wonder it's so much lost potential, and that's kind of what this like this close up image of him and like all he stands for in class and art, it's just something that sears in my mind. Like, yeah, all of his quotes are cool.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Another tragic moment in the courtroom for some reason that gets me is the scene with his mother starts like appearing. His
Oh
mother's
yeah.
there. And when they're carrying out the verdict, she's like, "Please don't like imprison my son." Like, you know, everything about his like mother, who's like kind of lurking in the background with the black veil,
Mm-hmm.
um, is just like kind of sad to me.
It
Um,
is sad.
yeah, obviously, I always save my tears for the end, but what do you think of the end?
um oh I actually kind of wrote about that. But I thought it was how do I like articulate this? I thought it was obviously you can tell that the family who he committed fraud against or whatever the fuck um were very excited to see the director. I forgot his name.
What's
Um
in my bus?
yeah. I'm not going to try and say that. Um
I practiced in front
okay,
of me.
yeah. Um but well, actually, no. First of all, their little interaction when he's like fucking like crying and he's at the door and he's crying and he was like, "Oh, don't cry."
Um,
that was very to me that was a very raw,
yeah.
very like raw emotion and
I
like
I get chills when I see his first like hug, like Hussein's hugging the director when he like starts like initially break down in tears, like you said.
yeah,
That is real. That is like the glimpse of real raw humanity that I did see there. I know that was a real reaction. There's no
yeah,
way. I mean, unless Hossein Sabzian is the best actor ever, ever, like
right?
a raw moment such as that, I mean, even from afar, I could tell. I could tell.
Hmm.
That whole end, I'm always in tears. I never really cry in movies, but I'm always in tears
Yeah,
in this movie specifically. It's just such a empathetic movie about like forgiveness and like art and like everything surrounding it that it always gets me. Um,
yeah. I
what
was
else?
I kind of just wrote about like forgiveness and how like what the guy the family said something like no, not the family,
They did say something.
he said I don't remember what he said, but it was like something about him crying and like basically like don't cry or whatever the fuck. And like um and then I kind of like was like, oh, like I was saying like forgiveness, I guess, and like forgiveness is key. And like, like hopefully because the family, did you think that he like the family forgave him?
I'd like to believe it. I'd
Yeah.
like to believe it's sort of ambiguous, I guess, with that final, like, still the final freeze frame.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I'd like to believe it. I'd like to believe in the empathy and forgiveness of people.
That's
And
what
this
because
movie, yeah, it
no, I was
helps
just
me with.
yeah, yeah. I was just gonna say that like yeah, forgiveness is like key in life and you can't really like go on without like truly like forgiving. Like you can forgive, we can't forget, whatever. But like you can't just live with like that grudge held up inside of you.
Right.
And also
It's
like
a petty ass grudge. I'm sorry. Yes,
yeah,
he's farcical to you, but like, come
yeah.
on. I'm happy they dropped it. I would forgive.
Which it also just goes back to the whole like class thing. And like
Yeah,
they were really like well off
yeah,
and he obviously wasn't. So again, it like goes back to that and how I'm
yeah.
sure there was judgment because he didn't have their like status and like didn't have the money that they had.
Yeah, the whole class play in this like movie is kind of a headache. I mean, I believe that Kiarostami, I mean, I'm sure he was from a well-off family when he has all these resources available for him. Um, I think, yes, the questions can be raised about this well-off filmmaker making a movie and like showing the poor man's struggle. And like I don't know, people on Letterboxd, like the very few low ratings I see are like criticizing this for some sort of poverty porn. I don't believe in that for this movie. I think it
No.
is extremely thoughtful and like I don't know, I think it's very empathetic and like actually makes people want to do something, make a change. Um so I really disagree with that label for this movie.
Yeah, I feel like that's extreme. I don't
Yeah.
poverty porn. No.
Either that or people are with like Mad Max Fury Road in their top four favorites being like close up, more like boring fucking
Yeah.
movies. But yeah. Anyways, do you want to get to ratings?
Yeah.
I want to get to ratings.
Okay, I know what your rating of this movie
Yeah, I'll
is.
start five
Yeah.
out of five. Just like such an important movie for me. I own this. I think this is like my fourth time watching it. I mean, just a comfort watch, such an interesting watch. Abbas Kiarostami is my favorite director, so there it is.
Yeah. All right. My
No
rating,
pressure though.
no pressure. Okay.
Whatever rating you
No.
want in it.
Don't worry, it's not a bad rating at all.
Okay, good.
My rating of Close Up is 4.5 out of 5.
Solid. I was
And
anticipating.
yeah, it's not 5 only because I think honestly there's not really a reason that it's not 5. It's just that like I would need to maybe like rewatch it again.
I totally get that.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
a-
But like I have no like real like criticism for it that like
yeah.
knocks it down half a star. It's just that like
Yeah.
sometimes like movies that I give 5, I have to like feel the chill to my bone,
Yeah.
you
You
know?
did this is definitely I had zero expectations for you to like give it 5 out of 5 on the first
Yeah.
watch. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
like it's so dense and like kind of distant in some
It
parts.
is.
Um, yeah. So it is and like a little confusing for many people. It was confusing
Hmm.
for me the first time I watched it. Um, but yeah, I'm happy you gave it nine
Yeah.
out of. It's good.
Yay.
Okay. Well, I'm happy you enjoyed it, and I love
I
talking.
I enjoyed it very, very much. And I will definitely be continuing watching like Hirosami movies.
Watch Taste of Cherry next. This is to you and the viewers. Taste of
Honest,
Cherry is
I
your
think
next stop.
that was gonna be my next one actually.
Um, yeah. Um, sad, more sad than this movie, more existential, um, more of more slow, but like not in a really boring way. It's
Yeah.
it's more visually stunning. It's even more nuanced. Um, yeah, Taste of Cherry is mind blowing. But should we get to the pick of the week?
Okay. All
Okay,
right.
wait,
I'm
I'm
very
gonna
excited about this.
turn off the backgrounds.
Oh, yes. Oh, what was that little sneak? What was that
What?
sneak? I saw an alien.
Oh, my cat?
No, I saw an alien background or Mike
Oh, oh, that
Wazowski.
was that was from COVID. Yes, I do have an alien.
Okay.
It's not an alien, it's the baby kid from Ice Age as like Shrek or something. That's Mike was.
Oh, okay.
Would you like to see it?
Yes. Okay,
This
that's
was yeah, that was
horrifying.
that was kind of my humor back then.
Yeah.
It's like go ahead.
Okay. My movie pick of next week is one that I've been wanting to watch for a while.
Oh,
Yoav
my
and I have
heart is
never we've never discussed this, and you have never watched it either, so it's new for
okay.
both of us. We've never discussed this movie, but I love this director, and this is like one of the movies of his that I have not seen yet, but I've seen five of his other movies. All right.
Okay. Fine.
So, yes, I've seen five of his other movies.
You're into it. You're like, okay.
And
Um,
so have you, by the way.
huh?
Yeah, you've also seen these five movies.
Okay, okay.
Okay. So next week's pick is the 2014 movie directed by Richard Linklater, Boyhood.
Oh, that's a good ass pick, Meli.
Thank you.
Oh yes.
Oh,
I'm
yes.
five movies of his I've seen.
Dazed and
Oh, the
Confused,
Before trilogy,
Before
Dazed and Confused,
Trilogy, School of Rock.
School of Rock.
Yes.
Ah, School of Rock. Okay,
Yes.
I'm glad.
But
Okay, it's a
yeah, so
good
I
one.
was like, my process behind this was kind of just like, you know what? Um, we've been watching some like depressing movies. Not that I don't know if this movie's like necessarily like
Sad.
happy,
It's
but
sad.
it is sad. But I feel
It's
like
more
it's
sad than it is happy. But
yeah,
yes.
but I feel like it's not as depressing as Close Up.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
I've
I
been
thought you were talking about Close Up.
no, I was talking about
Well,
Boyhood.
yeah, I was saying that Close Up is more sad than happy. I don't know
Oh
about
yeah,
Boyhood.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think Boyhood. Well, I don't know. I've been very interested in it. You know, I love Ethan Hawke and like the whole thing about this movie being filmed over like how many years, and it like literally grows up with this kid. Like,
Yeah, yeah, they grow up like Harry Potter.
yeah, pretty much. So
Yeah,
very excited. And then obviously we both love Richard Linklater. Like
we love
we
him.
we love him. So I'm very excited about this.
Me too. Check that out and check Close Up out. If you haven't seen it. And if you
Yeah.
haven't, why are you even here?
Yeah,
Okay.
seriously.
You're stinky, you're
Mm-hmm.
crusty,
Mm-hmm.
you're disgusting.
You
Obviously,
are.
I
You
anyways,
don't deserve this.
I think that's goodbye for you and
Yeah,
for everyone else.
it
Love you guys.
is.
Don't love you.
No, we don't. If you've seen the movie, we love you. If you haven't seen the movie, we hate you.
Yeah, you're done.
You're done.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.